See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch and the champ only need one round like ha. Yeah, me, I'm a G bring heat in the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cage Fury 124 this Saturday night, September 2nd, and Frank Wells makes his return to the Octagon. Frank, happy fight week, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling ready.
And
we're training hard. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. We were just talking about the weight cut because, we're 3 days out from weigh-ins. You said, hey, not too much weight to shed off. And you seem like you're in good spirits. So tell the people out there, not a horrible weight cut this time around?
No, man. 45 is always like tough to make, but usually not too terrible. But you give me an extra 10 pounds, it's like money. This is cakewalk. This is like my job is helping fighters making weight outside of fighting. You know what I mean? So like I got this locked down. I'll take the extra 10 pounds.
And what was the reason for 155 compared to 145?
That's just who they sent me. I was like
Word?
waiting on a matchup, and they sent me a dude who was like 5 weeks out at 55, and I was like, if I wanted to just stick to 45, that's like what I do. But I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get a guy for this if I don't take this fight. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I also liked the matchup. I looked at the guy and I was like, that's acceptable. You know what I mean? If it was some giant 55er on a tear, like a guy that would be a tough fight and bigger, then I don't know if I would have taken it, but this was like a worthy, a worthwhile matchup to take.
And Arias likes you. I don't think he'd throw you some like welterweight or something.
I think we're on good terms. I've been trying to keep it good terms, even though he's a Phillies fan, but whatever.
I don't like baseball, so we're good. Don't you worry about me. And, dude, we haven't seen you December, right? 2022?
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell you been up to, man?
Yeah, I mean, not entirely my my choice. Yeah, so they had the fights early April. It was like March 31st, April 1st. I was set to have a baby on like the 3rd. Well, my wife was set to have a baby on like the 3rd. So I was like, man, that's cutting it like a little tight because I don't know, that's like when she was supposed to come. And then if it's like a couple days before and it's on the fight day or fight week, then I'd have to pull out. So it was like that just wasn't worth the risk there. I was supposed to fight in June. I broke my hand like 3-4 weeks out, so I had to pull out of that one.
Yep.
And then I was trying to fight on the July cards, and I just didn't get matched. So I had to wait, and here we are, September. Again, it's just like you send me somebody, it's like fuck, fine, I'll take them. I don't care.
You're just ready to get back in there, man. And it finally goes down 124 Saturday night. Ontario Gladney. I don't know if I got the name correct pronunciation wise, but what are your thoughts on him? You said you liked the matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a guy who's like super aggressive. In my opinion, he's explosive, he's athletic, so he's dangerous in that regard, but technically I don't think he's anything that like I am overly concerned about. It's a guy, whereas I feel like as long as I mind my defensive P's and Q's, I just don't see where he beats me. I don't see him holding me down. I don't see him like landing too many clean strikes. I don't know. I don't see where he's like going to go dominate me. Everybody's always got a punch or chance again, especially like a bigger guy that throws everything with like 100% malice.
Yeah.
But that's just, I feel like that's a fight I should win 95% of the time.
And I mean, especially your last few fights, man, you've gotten some real deep round experience. So that's going to go a long way in these fights. Do you have any sort of prediction, or at the least do you envision this fight going down any certain way?
I mean, I just been playing through to my head. I feel it's either going to be like early stoppage, like I can knock him out early and, or like hurt him really bad and pour it on. Or it's going to be like kind of I hurt him, he stays in there, and I just kind of like grind on him for 3 rounds. If he's tough enough to hang in there, he's tough enough to hang in there. If not, he's going to get clipped early and often.
And it hasn't been, years, but it's been, the better part of a year that we haven't seen you in there. And that being said, I know you stay busy. I know you're constantly training, but are you concerned about, the dreaded ring rust at all, or is that not a thing? How do you feel about that?
No, I mean, I definitely like to stay active. When I was doing Muay Thai and amateur MMA, I I averaged 5 fights a year for like 6-7 years
Right.
straight. So like I really like being active. The first time I got a long layoff was for COVID. I was like 10 days shy of a full year off, and I went and knocked my dude out. And yeah, I don't know. So and then after that, I fought in April, and then we had trouble getting opponents, and I didn't fight for 8 months between April 1st and December 17th. And that was actually up at 55 as well, that December fight. And that was one of my best performances against Will Rentz, who's, other than me, is undefeated, Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely like to stay active, but time off has been kind to me on the follow-up performance.
And it's interesting too, man, because you're coming off of 2 losses, and I'm just wondering what that has done for your motivation, especially being on the sidelines for as long as you have been.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating because I have kind of like a shit record, and I don't feel like
I
I've
wouldn't say
lost to
that.
anybody that like 3-3 is not great, but I haven't lost to anybody that I think is better than me. I was a little inexperienced in the wrestling against Tim Kwamba, who just won on Contender Series last night.
Good performance.
And then Jose Perez, I mean, I was beating for 2.5 rounds and then made kind of like a tactical and technical error on top of him having good jiu-jitsu, and lost that fight. And then Vassal just clipped me in an exchange again, where it was like, I thought, looking back, it was probably 1-1 on the rounds, but I think I was a fresher guy coming into round 3. And so it's like, that's why I'm not being too cocky about this guy. Is like, me being better doesn't necessarily mean that I win, because that's just the track record of what's happened. But I have things to take away from those fights, as again, like, I got to keep my focus the whole way through. That's why I've really had an intention of, looking to be a little bit more violent, a little bit more consequence to when people make mistakes. Because if I can just take them out and really land hard shots, not be like kind of out pointing them and being technical, they don't have the chance to land that one shot in the exchange, or they don't have the chance to capitalize on the takedowns. Like, they're just out, and I don't give them the chance to go get that win. So that's what I'm really been focusing on in practice. And in like pad work and drilling and all that stuff, is like really capitalizing on the openings all around.
And you just fought both of them. They're fighting the night before you. Who do you think takes that fight for the title?
I'll be watching that for sure. Already be there. I'll be weighed in and all that. Feeling both of them, I feel like Vassal has more ways to win. He's pretty good at kind of what I just said, like creating consequence for closing the distance. And he's shown to be really, I didn't take him down, but watching all of his fights, he's like really annoying to do things to. When you take him down, like, he just spams elbows and looks to just constantly like scramble, move to get up. So I'm curious to see how Jose deals with that. I would probably favor Chris. Again, because I think he has more ways to win. I think he's more dangerous. He can end it in one shot. That being said, I mean, Jose can absolutely win because he's like super tough and takes a lot of shots. He doesn't particularly have a lot of power on his punches or great defense, but he's durable and he's tough and he's got good conditioning and really good finishing ability with his jiu-jitsu. So again, I favor Chris, but like slightly.
It's going to be a good one, man. I know you two don't get along all the time, but I'm a big Jose fan too. I think he takes that one, but yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. And hell, I'd like to see the rematch with you against either of them. And I saw you and Jose, tweeting back and forth a little bit on Twitter, a little chirping. So you want that? Like which fight do you want more? Again, Chris or Jose?
I would take either one. There's not one that I like want back more, I guess, than the other one.
Well, yeah, we'll see, man, and have your eyes on it because you're still right back in the top of that division.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there watching. I'm be there watching for sure.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'll be there too, so I'll see you there. Anyways, camp. It's been a long one. I don't know if that's a blessing or not, but I know you're primarily at Renzo's. But where have you been training? Because you like to travel, from my understanding too.
Yeah, so primarily I'm at the Institute in Keensburg, New Jersey. So I've been
Okay.
there. April was 9 years. So that's where I've like really like done all my striking. Got my technique and my like fight IQ, I feel. And then Henzo's I've been at for like the last 3 years or
Yeah.
so. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I was there like a little bit before COVID, and then it was like September, October 2020, I committed there full time. Um, and that's like been really, really good for the jujitsu and overall MMA. And my head coach Jamie is he's also primarily a striker, but he's been really good in like adding like the tactical parts of MMA, striking and grappling. Where like um, yeah, it's not as much technique work. I've had the technique. It's like now how and when to apply it in an MMA context, and then mixing the grappling as well. And then, yeah, just I definitely like to bounce around because New York is far away. So
Yeah.
if there's days where like it doesn't work, like I'm there almost always 4 to 5 days a week. But if there's days that I can't make it in, I've been bouncing to Nick Catone's a little bit this gym or
Love
this
Nick
past
Catone's.
camp. That's where I was for like 5 years before I went to Henzo's full time. So I kind of went on good terms. So popping back in there here and there has been really good. And then I'm always tight with Dante too. So I've been
Love
mixing in with
Dante's.
him on some of the night practices. Going with some really good wrestlers.
Yeah,
As you do when you
Dante's
go
is
there.
killer.
Yeah.
They got Jerry and Nick and Eric and Luke just pushing you up against the cage. Yeah, that's not a fun practice.
Yeah, I definitely avoid Luke. But
He's a
yeah, the
big
guy,
boy, man.
yeah. Yeah, I give him a fist bump. That's about the most contact I have with him. But yeah. I mean, if you're walking in there, you're walking into like, the lion's den of good cage wrestling and good top control. So that's always like a good place to go to try to either like learn to defend it or, work on the offensive part myself.
I think Caracappa and Galanti are on the card with you too. So, or maybe the night
Cool.
before or something.
Caracappa definitely is. I think Galante's guy pulled out
Oh, that's
recently.
right. Galanti's fights
Yeah.
off. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he was
Stupid.
supposed to be. But yeah,
Stupid.
I always like fighting on the same card as Dante's guys again, because like we train together. I have a good relationship with Dante. We get to hang out and bust balls and all that stuff, and like just have like a good atmosphere.
Yeah, Dante's a good dude, man. That's a good gym. I mean, every gym you named is fantastic. And out of all those gyms, who's going to be in your corner?
So it's going to be my same two corners I've had for all my fights, Mike Burke and Jamie Crowder. So Mike Burke owns the Institute, again, where I've been at forever now. And Jamie's the head MMA coach. And then this fight, I'll also have my, for the first time, my jiu-jitsu coach, Mike Jaramillo. So he's like a long time, I think he just got like his 5th degree black belt. He was actually the first black belt under John Danaher. And then he's the one who took over the jiu-jitsu when Danaher left to go to Puerto Rico. Jaramillo's been running the program since then. And he's he's coached a lot of good guys that have gotten to the UFC, like Phil Hawes and Jared Gordon, a couple other guys. Oh, Joao Zeffirino, who's big in Bellator and PFL. A good handful of other guys I'm not remembering, but really, really good mind when it comes to grappling and fighting.
And I think I know your answer here, but looking ahead, you get the big dub. What's next? What do you want next for your second fight back? Do you want that to be in 2023? And who would you like that to be? What stakes on the line? Yada yada.
So I mean, I would definitely like to flip around and do December, or if there's something even earlier than that, I would like. This is probably not going to happen, but I would like to still try to squeeze in 3, even though we're in beginning of September. Again, like I like staying active, so if I come out not banged up, I know they're doing that South Dakota card in like 2 weeks. Like if somebody falls through on that,
Damn, okay,
whatever. Like I can't look I can't look past Ontario, but I want to fight. Like but more realistically, more likely probably December. They do that big end of the year show.
Yep.
In Atlantic City, where like I sell a lot more tickets and like, we have a good time. I always like fighting at the Hard Rock too. So that's probably the more realistic turnaround time is to go back and do December.
And then in terms of 2024, how do you envision next year going down with your MMA career?
I want to get back to being busy, be active, and all this. I want to fight 4 times a year and feel good, like feel familiar going into the cage, and just start racking this up. I'm 29. I don't have 10 years to do this shit. I want to get things going. I got 5-6 years to like do something. So I want to do it.
Awesome, man. Looking forward because always a fan of Frank Wells fights. And before I get you out of here, enough fighting. I want to ask about you and the fam real quick. You just had a baby, right?
Sure did in April. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So,
how's all that going, man?
it's solid. It's really cool. So I said I thought it was going to be April 3rd. She ended up coming out April 12th. So yeah, she's about 4.5 months old. And man, I got lucky. This baby sleeps all the time. She's like super like mild mannered, like really like doesn't cry a lot. Easy to take care of. My girl's real mad because she looks a lot like me. But that's it. Yeah, it's been cool. It's been cool. And I've been really lucky. My wife's like really good with taking care of the baby and like prioritizing that. So I really barely missed a beat on training. I was like, we had the baby on Wednesday. I was like back training like Sunday, Monday.
Oh, sick.
And assisting as much as I could. But since she was like able to be like able-bodied again, she's been really like MVP taking care of it. And then my in-laws and my parents are like both, they're super close, and so getting a lot of help from them too. But it's been cool. Dad life's awesome.
We gonna get some like newfound dad strength in this next fight?
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I just get that first 3 fights when Cerrone had that baby boy. Or yeah, just straight dad. I got the dad jokes, but I need the dad strength. I want to feel that when I grab a hold of somebody.
Well, it's Saturday night we find out. And just one more question. I don't even have this one written down. I'm just wondering, marrying, are you guys married, engaged? I'm not sure if you're.
Yes. Yeah. Married.
So I can say wife. Your wife's a Gracie. I'm just wondering, is there like added pressure that comes with that, now being in the Gracie family and her being in your family? Because like, obviously they're the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world.
Yeah. So I mean, I came into that family having not done jiu-jitsu in like 6 years. And but Renzo was always happy that it was just like a guy that's a fighter, pretty much, and then I mean, she's the one who like got me to go there full time, to go to Renzo's gym full time in the city. Yeah, through lots of pressure. Yeah, but I mean, it's cool. It's just nice because it's like nobody else that I've ever been with, their family hasn't been able to like understand it this well, where it's like they literally were the fucking OGs of the OGs.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, they just understand like whatever, the weight cuts, the training, the being in like shit mood sometimes, like whatever. It's like, her uncle's only like 33, so I get to train with her uncle sometimes, and like again, yeah, seeing Renzo all the time is good. Yeah, not a lot of pressure, to be honest. But I try to like get as much as I can, from them.
Yeah, man, that's pretty awesome stuff right there. And just real quick, give me that like family tree breakdown. Who is she related to? Like, how does that work with all the relatives?
I'm not quite positive she even knows, but I mean, her dad is Renzo,
right?
Gracie. Her uncle is Hobson, who had 4 fights in Bellator. She has an older uncle, Half, and I believe it was Hobson Gracie Senior. Is her grandfather.
I don't need the whole family
like,
tree. I just wanted the immediates,
But I don't know. It's really confusing because I'll be like, "Who's this guy to you?" She's like, "I don't know."
Well, Renzo Gracie's your father-in-law. That's what I was getting at.
Renzo Gracie's her father-in-law. Neiman Gracie is her uncle as well, or her cousin, I think. I don't know. Related closely somehow. Yeah. So again, it's cool to just be like, I don't have to explain shit of like why I have to cut weight or like why I want to fight. It's just kind of like accepted and they know it, and it's like
it's engraved in the family.
That part's way here. What's up?
I said it's like ingrained in the family,
Yeah, yeah, it's all set. So as long as I go out there and I fight hard, that's all they really give a shit about. Just go and represent to the best of your ability because that's what they did.
Hell yeah, man. And you fight hard every fight. I can attest. Frank, before I get you out of here, man, just want to give you the opportunity with all the eyes on this card. Tons of people looking forward to your return and the scrap news, which this interview will be posted. Anything you want to say to everybody? If so, the mic is yours.
One, I appreciate everybody's support through the ups and downs, whatever. Again, like I said this after the last fight, it's like it doesn't really seem to matter how I do. The amount of support seems to stay the same. So I don't have this gigantic worldwide following, but like I have a decent sized following, and they seem to stay like pretty true. I should have worn my shirt. I just sweat through it, so I didn't have it on. So this fight, I was selling shirts for the Weedify Foundation. So that's like a nonprofit that goes to combat disabled veterans, and it gives them money for jiu-jitsu memberships and gear and all that stuff. Just to kind of like help combat like PTSD and like the injuries that they went through, and just give them a sense of community and all that stuff. So that's a really cool organization. Again, I have shirts that I'm selling that will go, all that goes straight to them. That's it. So support Redefy Foundation, whether it's through me or you want to just donate directly. That's it. Daddy Frank, back in business, ready to fucking hurt somebody.
Love it, man. And I'll link all your social media stuff below so people can go follow you and find all that.
Oh yeah. Thank you too.
Daddy Frank. Thank you, Daddy Frank. And I'm looking forward to the return. I'll be there in person. I can't believe I just called you Daddy, but CFFC 124, it goes down, ladies and gentlemen. Frank Wells returns Saturday, September 2nd. Frank, my man, thank you so much. I'll see you there. And I'll buy you a beer on the other side, as they say.
Boom. I like it.